Recall that over 24 resource persons have been summoned by the Senate Committee of the Whole to find out why the government has yet to procure any vaccines against COVID-19. Senate President Tito Soto will be presiding over the Senate inquiry. Soto earlier clarified that the issue of the unauthorized inoculation of some cabinet members and PSG personnel will not be taken up. Here are some of the day's biggest stories. The country has secured a deal for the supply of 30 million doses of the Covovax vaccine. The supply will be available by the third quarter of this year. Covovax is developed by the Serum Institute of India, the world's largest vaccine manufacturing firm. Vaccine czar Carlito Galvez Jr. signed the term sheet for the agreement over the weekend, together with SII's Philippine partner, Faberco Life Sciences. Another LGU is also making its own strides in vaccine procurement. Valenzuela City announces that it has signed a deal securing 640,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine. The local government says 320,000 individuals will be vaccinated with this supply. That is 70% of the target population for inoculation in the city. The vaccines are expected to arrive by the second half of the year, which means Valenzuela will be one of the first city governments to roll out such vaccines. Aside from Valenzuela, Caloocan City has also inked an agreement for the advanced purchase of around 600,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine. This was announced by Caloocan Mayor Oka Malapitan. He said they're coordinating with other pharmaceutical companies to secure more vaccine supplies once these are approved by the IATF and the FDA. The LGU has yet to announce, though, when they're expecting the AstraZeneca doses to arrive in the country.
As the world's biggest countries grapple with COVID-19, smaller nations are getting fewer headlines, but each face their own challenges. Joining us now from Kingston, Jamaica is Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Thank you for being with us, Prime Minister. We're seeing record deaths in places like the U.S. It was a record day for us yesterday with more than 4,000 deaths. The U.K. as well at the moment. How is Jamaica doing?
Jamaica is doing fairly well relative to its resources and compared to other countries globally. Today's statistics here reveal that we had less than 5% positivity rate.
Wow.
And our infections were somewhere in the region of 40. So that's today, but we're doing fairly well.
Why do you think that is?
Well, from the start of the pandemic, we were very consistent in the measures, the infection prevention and control measures. We were very consistent in managing our borders, and we adopted an evidence-based and situationally appropriate strategy, which brought in the population into the conversation. And though I wouldn't say we were perfect in how consistent and faithful every Jamaican was in obeying the protocols, but I think in general, the population did well in taking personal responsibility and in observing the rules under our Disaster Risk Management Act.
What's the status of vaccines in Jamaica? What do you have access to at this point, and have you been vaccinated?
Well, let me start by saying I will be vaccinated. I believe I have a duty to exemplify that a vaccination is important. We have not yet had vaccinations in Jamaica. We are part of the COVAX initiative. So we are expecting that we will be amongst the first countries to receive vaccination. We were hoping that by April, thereabouts, we would start to vaccinate the priority profiles in the population. So we are on target for that.
I'm wondering how you view the surplus purchasing of vaccines by wealthy countries all over the world. Is it prudent planning or is it hoarding?
It's hoarding. I think prudent planning would be to ensure that there is a consummate spread of the vaccine right across the world, because the world has to reach a certain threshold in vaccination in order for us to defeat the virus. I think it's a false sense of security unless you intend to close your borders permanently. that would give anyone a thought to believe that if you vaccinate your population alone, then you are safe.
The World Health Organization wants to put an end to vaccine nationalism that's preventing middle and low-income countries from receiving COVID-19 vaccines. During a Geneva news briefing, WHO Director General Tedros Ghebreyesus asked countries and manufacturers to stop making bilateral deals to give way to poorer countries. He also called on those who have ordered excess doses to immediately hand them over to the Covovax Vaccine sharing facility. Ghebreyesus urged countries to stop politicizing the vaccine and stressed the need to give doses to all vulnerable groups and frontliners, no matter where they live.
We're also seeing both high and middle-income countries that are part of COVAX making additional bilateral deals. This potentially bumps up the price for everyone and means high-risk people in the poorest and most marginalized countries don't get the vaccine. Vaccine nationalism hurts us all and is self-defeating. No country is exceptional and should cut the queue and vaccinate all their population while some remain with no supply of the vaccine.
Here are the biggest stories from the dailies. The Philippine Red Cross will kick off saliva COVID-19 testing today. Filipino Star Ngayon reports that around 1,000 saliva tests will be conducted as part of a pilot study to find a cheaper alternative for RT-PCR testing. Business World reports that a House committee will open deliberations this week for the amendment of economic provisions of the Constitution. This was announced by Speaker Lord Alan Velasco, who highlighted the supposed urgent need to amend restrictive economic provisions of the Charter. The amendments aim to support the country's economic recovery from the pandemic. And this from the Philippine Star, the Philippines now has the worst traffic among ASEAN nations and is ranked 9th worst in the world. That's according to the latest Numbeo 2020 Traffic Index, which covers 81 countries worldwide. Nigeria tops this list, while Austria has the best traffic among those covered by the index. Over 4,000 families are staying in evacuation centers in Negros Oriental due to the effects of the frontal system. The government has likewise released almost 1.6 million pesos in relief to all affected residents. Pag-asa says the tail end of the front is currently affecting the eastern section of the Visayas, while the Intertropical Convergence Zone is bringing scattered rain showers and thunderstorms over Mindanao. Here are the stories to watch out for later today. The Tourism Department will finalize its investigation into the Christine Dacera case within the week. Meanwhile, the PNP will have another press briefing to discuss developments on this case later this morning. The Transportation Department is closing another U-turn slot in line with the EDSA busway project. This time, it's in the area of General Malvar and Bagong Barrio in Caloocan. And it's the first day in office for the new MMDA chairman, Benher Abalos. He is replacing General Danny Lim, who died last week due to cardiac arrest. And that's how the day is shaping up to be. Join us later at 10 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories from sunrise to sundown. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Just register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. We are One News.